Alright, today we are doing the long-awaited episode you all have been waiting for, the progress tour of Oakwood Zoo, or Oakwood Zoo Season 2. And at the end of the video, we will be going over some future plans of what we will be building for next and some new projects. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, so hello everybody, and welcome to, here we are, in Oakwood Zoo, not in a speed build, we are in the actual explore mode, or a real person tour, or real person mode, I guess, the guest cam. So here we are in the Oceania section. Now, I do have to point out a couple things before we actually get started. It's a very exciting episode for me, because I really like doing tours and stuff, and just kind of relaxing. I don't do tours often, but I just like chilling and like going through what we've made and kind of appreciating it and stuff and looking at all the little details. So I thought it would be pretty fun to do today. And of course, we haven't showcased a lot of we haven't toured through a lot of the new projects that we've done recently, like the Otter House, the America's Pavilion, which is the big one, which I will be releasing on the workshop Wednesday. So that will be releasing Wednesday. I'll have it up in the workshop, and then I also believe I have a trailer for it coming. I might have it already shown as a premiere. I might not, who knows. But this is going to be a bit of a lengthy episode, probably 45 minutes-ish, if I'm guessing. We will be touring through everything that is finished in Oakwood Zoo. And what I mean by that is that in the zoo, if we go into an over top view here, if you look at the zoo overall from the top, you see we are spread out a lot. The main two sections that are done is, number one, Oakwood Oceania, or the Oceania section, which we did in Season 1, which is where we started the zoo. And now in Season 2, we have worked on this part and also started on Africa over here. So these are the main things we'll be focusing on today, we'll be going through and touring this stuff. This stuff over here is either stuff that needs renovating or will be completely demolished, because not that I don't love it, not that I don't like some of the stuff, but I feel like either it uses a lot of pieces like this, the gibbon house. Again, I've split this up so you can't even see how many pieces are in the actual cage. So it just says mesh fence and stuff. I could probably scan over it, but again, I already have all the animals in the zoo and everything, so I'd rather not take the chance. But stuff like this will probably either be, I don't want to get rid of it, but I'll probably release it to the Steam Workshop and then repurpose it or make a new gibbon enclosure for something else or whatever. Because I do have plans for almost all of the entire zoo remaining. I won't be sharing the entire roadmap. I'll only be sharing probably what we'll be doing in Season 3 and just some stuff I look forward to. But there are a few enclosures like here that I will keep parts of. Like the Wyson enclosure, I believe the Wyson will be staying in this area. I might change a couple things. I definitely want to change the shelter because this is way too many pieces. You look at the roof and stuff, it's ridiculous. And also the walls are just made of infinitely tiny pieces. If you look at this, it is just really good. Also my mouse is doing some weird things today, so if I click on, if I misclick or whatever throughout the video, it's, I don't know, it's just something weird going on, just to let you know. But there are a couple other things over here, but we'll still look at them later on, but we'll mainly be focusing on this stuff. So, let's go here. Now again, this was originally the entrance to the zoo, but we will be relocating this. I deleted the entrance because number one, I didn't love how it looked, and number two, it used a lot of pieces. So I believe that we can make a better looking one with less pieces, and also in a better spot. Because if you'll notice, this is right up against the border of the map, so we can't do parking lots or anything realistic like that. We just had the building and then a road going that way, which isn't really that realistic. I would rather have an entrance over here, which is the plan. Have an entrance probably somewhere here, you would go through the entrance and you go through the Otter House, flamingos and stuff like that, and we have another enclosure there. This is where the new entrance will be. And you also notice I have my junkyard of blueprints and stuff that I use over there, but that will be moved obviously. But new entrance will be there. So right now this will eventually just be more animals and just another part of the zoo, but we will be starting here just because this is what we started with the zoo on. So again, this looks like a mess right now. We have pieces in random places. Again, I have not touched any of this. This will be stuff we'll be looking on. We'll be we'll checking out later on, and maybe Season 3. I don't know what the actual forego is for the entrance area. So first up, we have, again, I don't know if I have all these boards going. You have to update that later on. But this is the first enclosure that we have, which was technically the first enclosure we did on the channel, but I later redid it to make it look a lot better like this. And this is the kangaroo and wallaby enclosure. Now I believe I only put in, I took a couple shortcuts in terms of like what animals to add in here, because like just adding the animals before the tour. Oh, he died. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I believe there is another kangaroo. I am not sure about where it is, but okay. Well, we have wallabies. I don't know what is happening. I put vets in and keepers in and stuff just to do this tour, but apparently not. But overall, we have our wallabies here, and they are like absolutely adorable. I don't know if I can get too much of a better view of this enclosure. Unfortunately not. But you can see we've used like what, the twilight, yeah, the mossy stone walls from the tropical pack, I believe. So that's nice. I use that a lot in these kinds of enclosures. This is like my go-to piece for making stones and rock walls, or concrete walls. And this looks really nice. I love this. The wallaby is one of my favorite one of my favorite animals, at least from like the grasslands pack, and also just Oceania in general, like Australia. These guys look so. Oh, I can't move down. Hold on. Oops. Absolutely amazing. Oh, they're gone. Is there only? Oh, there's the other kangaroo. Okay, I knew they could get out of the shelter. I made sure of that. I believe we had a male and a female I put in here. We definitely need some stuff from keepers and vets. But other than that, let's keep moving here. Beautiful, adorable. I love the elevation here, that you start on a really high ground and then you go more low, and it gives the wallabies a bit more privacy there. So if you're here, you cannot see down below in that little like ditch kind of area. So that's pretty nice. I also really like this area, like the foliage and stuff. I don't use this fence anymore with like the new section or new enclosures. I don't know why. I think I preferred using other fences, or like I've used more like railings like this later on. So yeah. All right, we shall continue, and we will go to another revamped enclosure, one that was very early on in the series, but was later revamped to something better. And this building still needs to be revamped. I'm not entirely happy with how this looks. I did revamp, however, the entire outside area, which I believe I did showcase sometime in, I think, honestly, maybe in the Season 1 progress tour or something like that. The Season 1 tour was like forever ago, Jesus. Well, look in here, we have our wombats, of course. Adorable. Well, look at you. I think I put 2 of you guys in here. You look absolutely adorable. We have our little backstage area here. Again, not too much going on back here. I will be doing a bit of updates and stuff. Again, we have like a missing... is this path or is this a... It is a path. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. Again, this is stuff that we will need to be renovating eventually. But I think I did make a change to this and have it like a closed wall, which I really like that because it gives kind of privacy to the staff. And also just hides the idea that it is a staff entrance. Because that's the whole goal of like doing like staff stuff in your zoos. You want to make it, you want to hide it. Which is why I don't really love the idea of like how the game handles that right now. And it's like, put this building really far away and it'll like increase guest happiness. Which I don't really love that idea because again, you see that stuff like keeper huts and like preparing food stuff right beside the guests and stuff. It's just well hidden. That's all you really need to do. But in the game, it's like, okay, you have to put the building somewhere else, or else it's no can do for the guests' happiness. But whatever. And just maybe something I can improve on in the sequel. But who knows? This is our outdoor area for the wombats. Again, I still am in play mode. I do have to fix or finish the boards for the wombats. This is something I did not get to. I made like the template for it, or not the template. I made like the thing where it's like 3 together. I just didn't get to making the actual art. I also don't know where our other wombat is here. We do have 2 of them. I know this. Is he or she? No. Are they both in here? Maybe? Oh, there's only 1. Okay. Apologies, I thought there was 2. Oh my god. My mouse is acting up like crazy. Alright, so let's go back here. So used a lot of the mud stone walls here. And we used a combination of the stalagmite pieces and I believe these are the temper. Yeah, the temper rocks. To kind of get that nice little lush backdrop there. And I think this one really blends in nicely with the forest. Just again, I think on the other side of this enclosure, you can't see it anymore. But we have the spectacle flying fox house, which is another thing that needs a bit of renovation, but they should be, I used to be able to see it behind the trees, and you might still be able to. Or maybe not. You can see stalagmites there, which probably shouldn't be visible, but who knows. Anyway, so let's get down from there. Our wombats enclosure. One last final look at it. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, this wasn't a bad enclosure from like episode 3 or whatever it was, but when I improvised it or I renovated it, I just added a lot more foliage, and I used, I think I did, that's when I added the temperate rocks to it to make it look a bit more lush. I think it overall worked and for the better. So now if we go this way, we have the penguin house, which is over there. If we move on back to here, we did not go through the greenhouse, so I want to do that next. So we're gonna go back through here. Okay, so we have more filter or foliage planters here. All right, now we are into the butterfly greenhouse. Now, originally when I did this episode, I had all 5 species of butterflies. Since then, we've gotten a new species of butterflies. So I figured that instead of causing the hassle of putting all 5 of them back in here, I used, I believe, the monarch, and I also put in the new one that we got from the Asia pack. Oh my god, there's so many of them. I did not put this many in. But I put in the new one that we got from the Asia pack, which was the Malabar Rose, I believe. Let's see if we can find one here, actually, like sitting. There's only monarchs. Oh, wait. Okay, well, he's in the planter. Is there any other ones? Oh my god, they really are all monarchs. Are there any here? Okay, well, maybe not. There is animals. Malabar Rose. There is a decent amount of them. I just don't know where they are. Oh, there he is. Okay, let's just look at this guy a bit closer in detail. Can we actually tap on them? No. Right, because they're exhibit animals, of course. That looks pretty nice, though. Very pretty. Love it, love it, love it. Alright, so we go back to explore mode. Whoa. We have, again, originally this did have all 5 species of butterfly, and this makes me kind of annoyed because, also is, again, a bit of a tweak there, I gotta fix later on, but this makes me kind of annoyed because I do want to make a new greenhouse, and I do want to go into, I'll talk about that later, a bit later on, but I don't want to get rid of this either because this looks really cool, but I feel like, again, I can do this better. It just won't look as cool. Like if you take a shot of this like at night, then it looks really cool, like the sunset. I just don't know if it's gonna look that cool again. So I don't know. I'll probably leave it up and then build something else and see if it's better. It will probably be better like details wise and like architectural wise, because I feel like that's something I would get better at over time, like doing this over again. But I don't know if this would actually look less cool than the new thing. But we'll see. Anyway, we have some planters around there and stuff. We don't have anything over here. This will be in this section we will have probably kind of like a mix of stuff because you are transitioning into the Asia or the Eurasia section. So that will be interesting. Now we have a in progress technically. Oh wait, no, we have the sign here. Hold on. Beautiful. I love this sign. We have our Oceania section. Beautiful, beautiful. Again, we have our wallaby friend, Tasmanian devil on our sign, and then also the kiwi coming out of the den or the burrow, which looks adorable. Moving over here, we have a enclosure that will be deleted because, again, this was originally for the emus, and I believe like episode 4 or 5 of the series. That was way earlier on, back in like 3 years ago. But we have recently renovated it in a recent episode and relocated the emus to somewhere over there. We'll get to it. But I do like this enclosure. I just don't really think it's suitable for housing emus. Again, there's a really big ditch that I feel like is maybe not the best in terms of like keeping emus, the emus restrained. And I think the new enclosure does it a lot better. But overall, I think it's fine. I do like the idea. I do like the fences. These are definitely stuff I want. This is stuff I want to reuse in the future. But for now, I think this is honestly one that I would get rid of. in the future. I don't know what would replace it in this section. I really don't, because we've covered all the main stuff that so far we've done all the main creatures I want to do for Oceania. So yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, we will be going into, well, this is the Tasmanian Devil enclosure. You notice that I have taken off the wall texture of the building, and that is because this building will also be getting, maybe not demolished, but we'll be moving the Tasmanian Devils and the Kiwis into another building, and that is going to be, actually no, I'm not going to tell you, we're going to tell you at the end. We're going to tell you at the end, because I don't want to do everything at the end. But, however, this is still a really cool enclosure. I love how lush this enclosure is, and it honestly is going to make me kind of sad that we have to, I don't know, maybe I'll use some parts of it, but it is a really cool enclosure to like just look in and like cool. It just looks very nice, very lush, and very very good for the Tasmanian Devils. I'm not redoing this enclosure because it's bad for the Tasmanian Devils or anything. It's just that I want to relocate them to something else and make maybe this into something better, perhaps. Yeah. Now on the other side, if we go, let's do a 360 of the entire outside of the house. This is our little kiwi enclosure, a little kiwi outdoor area. I made it very small because I know that kiwis do not go don't go outside basically ever in zoos. They only stick to interior or indoor enclosures. So I made a very small little area, and I even tried to do like a little tiki hut kind of thing, tiki shade structure, to maybe help the kiwis come outside if they're like protected in like shade or like shelter. So maybe that'll help. I don't know. Anyway, this is all using like the Oceania pack stuff, because this is just when we got the Oceania pack, which was 2023, I believe. So quite a bit ago. Alright, now I believe the actual entrance is through here. I think this is another thing I don't really like about this building, is that you don't really have a clear entrance. Alright. What will you see? Nothing. Now I believe when I used to do this, we'll be going into the nighttime. Into the Janes, and we have our little infographics, and this is the Tasmanian Devil indoor area. I do really like the red lights. They really add a lot to like these areas, and I do use them again in upcoming buildings we'll be going into. But for now, and looking at this, this looks really cool, and it really gives off that idea of nocturnal house. And this technically is a nocturnal house. It's like the Oceanian nocturnal house, which is pretty nice. And I do really like this little planter in the beginning. I do want to keep this, and I'll move this over to the new area where they'll be going, because that will also obviously be a building. We have to have kiwis in buildings because they love the indoors, and they are like vampires. They do not like the outdoors at all in the daytime. But yeah, we have more little things. I thought I added more red lights in here, but I guess not. Anyway, so let's keep moving. We also have a little exhibit for, I believe, the cockroaches, but I don't think there's anything in here. I don't. We can check. No, it's empty. Okay. Well, moving on from that. Now we will go out. We will turn it back into day. Avert your eyes. And now we are out of the house. Okay, I thought we had a sign for that. I guess not. I think I did, but I deleted it. And now we are into the officially new stuff. Now this is stuff that you have not seen. Actually, we probably should go to the penguin house. Hold that thought. I have done some renovations to the penguin house. For example, I've moved the doors to be actually open instead of closed. I've done a bit of renovation with like the little green planters and stuff. They look a lot more lush, and I added a lot more plants to them. I think I did some different stuff. I did some work with the curbs and make them look maybe a bit less standoutish and make them more like blend in. I do kind of want to do like a railing along the sides just to keep people out of the gardens, but that's for a later date. That's a later thing. But we have our penguin house. Now this is something I want to again also do some renovations to. Not on the outside though. The outside of this building I am absolutely in love with. It looks amazing. I really do love the outside of this because it's so lush, and I love how the sandy colors match with the greenery. It just looks amazing. Now, if we go into the house, this is where the part that I want to really kind of fix, because it just looks kind of weird and also kind of bland. I solved the space. I tried to solve the issue of like having a lot of space by adding planters everywhere, but it just doesn't really work that much, and it just looks kind of boring. And we have a couple, I try to make a couple stuff like info stands or whatever, but it just does not look that convincing. It just looks really out of place and weird. I want to redo the flooring. I want to make it look not just like plaster and actually use like concrete and grunge and different stuff to make it like better. And also use some more like caretakers and like people that actually make it look like they're people waiting to talk to you, or maybe just like some mini exhibits off to the side, maybe just for like info stuff. I don't know, or maybe like a maze thing with like like those walls with the info panels that kids can run through and like play with all the different buttons and stuff to learn about the penguins. And also, this is also kind of weird to me that the penguins, the top part of the glass is over part of the outside dome. I do really like the domes here. I do really like that. I'm gonna keep that. I just don't like how this is going to go around it, and I don't know how I'm gonna actually fix that. But it is just something I want to look at improving later on. But yeah, let's keep moving here. Again, more planters and stuff. I do really like the actual indoor area for the penguins. It's very nice. It's very, I don't know, homey, I guess. I used a lot of rock work, a lot of the faux rocks to kind of give this vibe of like maybe like a temple kind of area. But moving on, we have the outdoor viewing. Let's go outside. This part I really do like. This is very nice, and I really do like how this is like on so many different levels. We have our outdoor area for the little penguins. Also, again, this is for the little penguins. If I forgot to say, I think I've just said penguins so far, but yeah. Is this on? Is this on? Yeah. Okay. Right. I think we have a waterfall somewhere in here, or at least I thought. Maybe not. I think we had a waterfall here, but. Oh yeah, okay, there's a waterfall thing here. Again, there's a lot of stuff that we need to like renovate with these kinds of stuff, with this kind of stuff from season 1, so there's a lot of stuff to do. But let's move up here into our little area here where we can see up top all 3 layers a bit, I guess. You can see kind of a glance, and I did this on purpose to kind of just give the penguins a bit more privacy. You can see like the tree is blocking the way. Like, if we remove this, then you can see directly in, which I didn't really love doing. Why is the tree not popping back? There we go. So I wanted to get them a bit more of a clear view. But then again, you also have the viewing domes, which are a direct... Gonna have to go out of Explore mode to see these. If you go directly in, enter camera view. Woo! We can see directly in, and then we also have another one up here, which you can see up top. We're implying that the entrances to these are inside the house. Again, in a future renovation, I will probably actually make something that says like go in here to see like the penguins. But because the entrances to the domes are so big, it is just impossible to actually make them fit in any kind of building, which is something I really wish Frontier would fix, but I know they're not going to, which is very sad. Now before moving on to that, we do have another enclosure here, which is a pretty nice one. We have our flying foxes aviary here. I originally had it, I was building a swan pond here in this like dead end, but I think this area is so built up that it kept crashing my computer. Not recently, it was like before like we got the game back, or we got the zoo back in April, all the way back in like last year, where we tried to do like the Swan Lake, or I tried to do a Swan Lake when we got the Eurasia back, but it just did not work and it was just crashing my game, so I decided to leave it, and then eventually we ended up back here, where we probably could do it now if we wanted to. I just don't know if I really love the idea of that yet. I might relocate the swans to somewhere else. Who knows? But we do have here is our flying foxes, looking amazing. They have our little like stalagmite stuff. Very lush enclosure again. I really wasn't like a craze of using these kinds of plants and roots and lots of different like ferns and stuff to actually make this very lush and very, very bright. I don't use these plants anymore, or as much as I should. I really should. You keep using them because they are absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that is that for the outdoor area of that. Now we're gonna go inside the fox enclosure, the flying fox enclosure, and we have a decent little area here. We have a tree coming through the wall, which should not be happening. You could just, I guess not. It's gonna have to maybe go out of the thing, which I really don't like. Where is this coming from? What?
A few moments later.
This is it. And we're gonna take this out of the wall. There we go. Okay, back to this. So we have a nice, I tried to do like a little painting and stuff for this. I don't know how well it turned out. We will be doing some renovations just to, like the inside of here to make it like a bit more, I don't know, nicer. And I also will be replacing the walls to not use this kind of texture, maybe using our new, our more improved info boards to make it look a bit more realistic. Just stuff like that, and also be maybe adding some better foliage in here, as opposed to having this one round one which is kind of in the way. So yeah, let's move out. Oh, okay, we're on the roof. Now let's move on. We were back at around here. If you got the penguin area, move down the slope. We can have our little look-see into here. It just looks absolutely amazing. I love all of the different brick stuff here. This looks great. I like the faux. I used a lot of faux rocks and a lot of the lords and ladies plants to make like different like vines and stuff. I like that. Beautiful. And this is my kind of favorite part. I originally had like a staff member. I think it was like a queue member. I put like the queue path on and had like someone monitor it. But basically, someone would stand here and make sure it's not being too crowded. But we have our little cove where you can go inside and have like a 360 experience of the penguins swimming around you. Now, unfortunately, when I put the penguins in earlier on, I didn't put penguins in here for like this video because I figured it would be a lot of penguins, and I don't know if all of them I will be able to release again. So, and I am running tight on the animal storage, so I decided not to, because again, you've seen those episodes and stuff before. But this looks really nice, though. I love this kind of area of like the 360. You turn all the way around, and you can see them from all angles. Amazing. Okay. Now we have again another little thing. This just takes you back into the house where you would exit where we entered that house. You have a little baby window for here. The kids can kind of like pop through and see the penguins playing with the little geyser thing. Very nice. Okay, so now we are moving back. This is the indoor area of the penguins, or not the penguins, the quokkas, which we'll be seeing in a minute. Again, pretty generic kind of info, or in backstage area. We have our little kitchen here, with little plates, stuff. Very nice. Now we're gonna move on past that, and we'll be looking at the brand new enclosures. So these are the enclosures that we have not seen yet in the Season 1 tour. Everything up until now you have seen in Season 1. This is all the stuff that is actually new and improved and is like new to the zoo, which there is a lot. There's about like probably 15 enclosures. Also, I put in all these babies of emus to grow them up so I can release them to the wild, which is great. So excuse me while I do this for a second here. We're going to release you to the wild. We're going to release you to the wild. Shoot, my mouse misclicked. Yep, alright, cool. We have how many left? Only 2? No, that can't be right. Yes, that's 2. 1, 2. Alright. Well, yes, we only have two emus left. But anyway, we are up to the new emu enclosure. This is a brand new enclosure that is like the improvement of that one we showcased earlier. We have our albino emu here. You can look down here, like absolutely amazing. That'll be in the thumbnail, I promise you. I guarantee you. Again, we also have an example of the new boards that I've been using recently that I think look a lot more realistic and a lot more classier than we've used in prior videos. Yeah. The shelter is something I also really enjoyed. I love taking inspiration. I'll throw the image up on screen, but the area that I got inspiration from, I don't even think that was a emu enclosure or anything like a bird enclosure at all. But I did really like the style of it. I liked like the old rustic kind of feel to it, where you have like the little thing where you go inside. Oh, there's another emu here. Okay, well, can I sell you? I can. Goodbye. Okay, because I'm not going to use these guys ever. Because we've already made episodes about them. This is the backstage area for the emus. We have our 2 separate little doors, and we have our sliding doors for the emus. Looking absolutely amazing. You go in here. Nothing in this corner. I probably should add something there, but I don't know. Now we go back up here. Now we should only have 2 emus here. We have our male, and unfortunately this is probably going to be another male. It is, so that's quite unfortunate. Now, moving on, let's look at the quokka enclosure, which is across our little way here. There should be the quokkas in here. I did put them in. I don't know where they are. I see one, yeah. Oh, and there's a little baby quokka. Adorable. There's baby quokka, adult quokka. Awesome. So this is our little indoor section for the quokkas. Just a very nice little thing. The idea is that you're not supposed to look back here because you can see the staff area. So when you look head on, it just looks like a nice lush rainforest. Full of quokkas. Alright, and then we go on the outside area and we have this really cool, I really like this idea of having like this cool circle shaped thing, but also like two shaped together, which looks pretty nice to me. I think it looks pretty well like compared to like in attachment to the penguin house, because you see all this foliage from here and it's kind of like growing down into this planter or this area for right beside the penguin house. I think this honestly looks pretty nice. Yeah. Again, our quokkas here are somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, there's one. There's another one. There's another one. You can see a better view of it. Floating on some grass. Amazing. Alright, so we have our emu enclosure over here, and now we're moving on. I love the fences here. This is probably one of my favorite things I've ever built in this like new area of the zoo, is these fences. These like great, and I think I used the European cast iron fence, of course, but it just looks very nice with like that green kind of coloring there. And now we are on to the African section, technically, which we have the warthogs, and I guess we have 3 of them. I've only put 2 in. I think I only put 2 in. I honestly don't know. We have these guys. Look at these guys. Amazing. Oh no, we have 4 of them now. Is there any more back here? No. I guess not. Alright, well, we have 4 warthogs. But look at this, guys. I think I really do like this enclosure, like the warthogs enclosure, because it is very, I don't know, it's very different from what we've done so far with like the types of enclosures. We have like a very muddy kind of style. I've used 2 mud pits to give the warthogs what they need, a bath. So yeah. And if we look, actually we'll go to the indoor area on the way back, because that is like an entire thing. Again, another little info boards. You can download all of my info boards down in the link below. If you go to each separate video, then you'll see the link that will take you to the specific boards for that video. Like for example, if you go to the warthog enclosure episode and you go down and you hit the link there, it will take you to the boards for the warthogs. If you go to the link in this video though, it will take you to that general page of all the ones I've made so far. So you can get all of this stuff. So you can, if you really want to, you can download the zoo at the Steam Workshop, which will be available eventually in the upcoming future. Then you could download all like the boards and stuff, and then you could put them all on, and you could go to the zoo like I am, and you can grab whatever you want, because that will be happening soon. Promise. Look at that little warthog here. Adorable. Alright, moving on to our final enclosure in this kind of like row of 3, and that is for the Red River Hogs. I believe they are all over here doing, oh, please be, oh, starvation. Okay, well I don't know what's happening here. Oh. Okay. I don't know what happened here, but we're just gonna roll with it. Thought we had more than that, but I guess not. Okay, well this was the Red River Hog enclosure, but they have surprisingly all died of starvation, which was not my fault for the record, because there is literally food right there. But alright. Anyway, this was the first episode we did, or the first enclosure we did, on our way back to the zoo when I actually got access back in like April of 2025, and since then we have done all this new enclosures. So all the enclosures that you see coming up are all the ones we've done since April. So we've done that in the span of around 4 months. So yeah, got our beautiful little thing here. You can see I really love this moat. This looks great for like a moat. It's perfect. I really like the idea for like keeping the pigs back, because it's just a tiny little nudge of a barrier, but it just looks really nice when like blended in to that little area. This is probably one of my favorite sections of the zoo, just seeing all 3 of these together. I just landed on top of a tree, which is not what I wanted to see. Hey, I rhymed. Anyway, now let's go into the backstage area of these 3 enclosures quickly. We can go all the way over here, and again, this revamped backstage area. We go through here. We go on our right into the Red River Hog enclosure, our Red River Hog backstage area. We have 2 little pens here for the Red River Hogs for like separation stuff. Yeah. Okay. Now we go here, and this takes us to the outdoor pen for the red river again for separation. If we need to keep one back for I don't know, like vet stuff or whatever like that. And then we have our own gardens. Little stairs here that go down. You go across into the warthog enclosure. Was there a door there? Oh, I guess there wasn't. No. We have our warthog enclosure, which is a bit more maybe compact, but it looks generally the same as the red river enclosure. And again, all these buildings have like sky roofs, so to bring in some natural light into the enclosures or the backstage areas. And then finally, again, we have the emus, which we already saw the backstage area of, but we'll see it from this angle. If you go in, yeah, then you see that. And if you go out, oh my god, then we have the backstage area of the emus with the pens. They have two little pens there. So yeah, that was everything from the Oceania section. Now we'll be moving on into not the South America section yet. We'll be going all the way over here. Now eventually this will be like in the Africa section. You'll go through a bunch of different stuff like elephants or whatever. But this is the only thing we have currently of Africa, and that is the desert house, which is one of our like most recent areas that we're working on. Again, desert house. So first enclosure up here we have, this is one of my favorite enclosures, is the honey badger enclosure. And we have this really cool like overhanging netting kind of area structure here, which looks amazing. We have our little honey badger here from the Asia Pack. Oh, we have two of them overlapping each other. We'll just separate that. Like he's now sleeping. Oh yeah, he's like vibrating now. We have our other one getting a little drink of water. Very nice. This is a very recent episode. You can check that out if you want to see how I built this entire kind of cage thing, which took a long time. But if you do want to watch that video, then hit the link in the hit the link in the description, because that will take you. One of those links will take you to the entire Oakwood Zoo playlist, so you can check out all the episodes if you want in this zoo. We have again our little information boards. They're nice. And then again, you can see like a little taste of the up top area, like that little hilly area of the honey badgers have to prance around. Yeah, very nice. This will be eventually connected to something else that is going to be over here, which will be very upcoming, like going to be fastly upcoming in an episode. So watch out for that. Now we will be moving back around. I love these banners. I did steal these from, not the exact ones from Caesar Creates, but I took those as inspiration and made my own to make it look very, I don't know, very, very nice with like the desert house. Gives it more like an official feel. Now if you go down this little side channel, you have a little bench for you to like a little nap on. But you can also see this little window, which takes you directly into the honey badger enclosure, which you have again the little board there, and you can see our little honey badger sleeping there, which I really hope it is sleeping. It's just sleeping, right? Oh, thank God. Okay, well, there's a bunch of other stuff, but that's just because the keepers and the vets are not doing their job. Anyway, this is our little honey badger enclosure overall. It looks very nice. I really do like the brick wall aesthetic to this area. This whole house, it puts it together very nice, and it gives it a very unique style compared to the other buildings. My mouse is janking out again. That is not good. Now moving on. Oh, keeper's coming. Good job. Anyway, moving on. Before we actually enter the house, we have another outdoor area over here, which is for the fennec foxes. Which I don't know if they're outside. They probably are inside. Yes, they are. Maybe able to see them. Who knows? But this is our little outdoor area for the fennec foxes. Again, a very complicated mesh area again. This is 700 pieces. This other one is also 700 pieces. I'm really hoping to not do that again, because I think this is gonna start to slow down my game if I do this for all the tenants of the building. But this one was just something I really wanted to do for. And this is like it actually feels like a deserty enclosure. This one feels more like a shrublands kind of enclosure. This one really feels like desert, because you have those little like the hot climates, or like the hot the sand rocks. You have a lot of sands and dirts. A lot of like more grays and browns in the enclosure, which give it that more feel of a drier environment. On the sides of the enclosure or the house, you don't have anything yet because this will be stuff that we'll be adding in Season 3. Again, we do have our little statue of the funny fox, looking amazing and adorable. Again, our little info boards showing it off there. Now moving back around, we have our little entrance. Now this is our little centerpiece here, which we have honey badger and the algebra spurred tortoise, or sorry, the African spurred tortoise, which will also be making an appearance in the house at a later date. Now we are going up to the entrance of the desert house. And we can have desert house opening hours Monday to Friday 10 to 4, weekends 10 to 3. Alright. Here we are. So this is what we have so far, the indoor area. Again, this is not done, the entire house, obviously. But if you go here, we have our finished indoor section for the funny foxes. That looks pretty cool. I like this. I like how detailed it is. There's our two funny foxes on like the edge there. Looking very nice. I love the little ramps I've made that go up around the enclosure, helping them move around. Looks so nice. I don't have a backstage area for these guys, at least I don't think yet. Now I just have a room, which we'll be finishing later on at a later date, but for now, we'll be leaving it at this. Now, moving on to the other side, we have our honey badgers enclosure. I believe they can get in here, but they choose not to, I guess, because they're just outdoor little badgers. I got our honey badger sign. Yeah, nice. I like the walls here. They give they blend in very nicely to the rocks. And you also have a lot of greenery, again, similar to the outside area. Again, this one does have, I believe, a indoor area here. Yes, and this is actually for the porcupines, which will be also added to the house. So far we have porcupines, African spurred tortoises, yeah, and then maybe a couple others. That is all we have so far of the house, the desert house. So we'll be exiting there. This is a project that we are ongoingly continuing to add on to. So now we will go all the way over here, and we will tour through the last section we have of the South America section. This stuff we will not be touring just because it's not done and it's going to be renovated anyway. So again, this is also stuff that we've already done tours through. You've seen like the moose enclosure. You've seen what we have like red fox enclosure, which we'll definitely be getting. I'll be making a new red fox enclosure, raccoons, skunks and stuff. Again, all this stuff is kind of like in a mess, so I will be revamping most of it into either new enclosures or just moving the enclosures to somewhere else. But most likely redoing the enclosures. Alright, now we are at, actually we should start here. This is Predator Passage. This is a tiny little section that we've started after the Americas pack, which should not take long. We should be done it in one more episode, and I really should be done it by. I should have been done it before we finish season 2, but I already know that I'm not going to be getting to this enclosure, sadly. So unfortunately, we will be pushing that into season 3. But this is so far the area for the Predator Passage. You have this really cool like Indian temple, or like the South American kind of temple here, ruins. Predator Passage, our little ocelot friend. Move here. And this is generally just supposed to be like another path that you can take, but it will take you more in line with the rainforest. You have a lot of bigger ferns, just to give you a little extra feel. And this is our next enclosure. We have the ocelot from the Americas pack, looking adorable. Yeah, slow motion jumping and everything. Amazing. We have a really cool kind of like overtop aviary here, which isn't actually too heavy on the pieces. It's only 300, which is pretty good compared to the ones from the desert house, which are like 700. We also have our little info boards here again, as always. I've been trying to keep a consistent style with them as much as I can, and we have our indoor building for the ocelots that we shall now go inside now. I guess not. But if we go inside here, again, we just have our little tiny pens here for the ocelots and our little sinks and stuff, and plates, and our buckets, all that good stuff. Okay, now that we are out of that, this will be where, and I will spoil this right now, the second predator of this area is going to be the maned wolf. It is a carnivore, and it is a pretty menacing predator, and I do have an idea for its enclosure here, and it will tag onto the back of the flamingo enclosure. So we'll basically have, I want to have a kind of like a pond here surrounding the little lookout here, and then have the grasslands area for it to run around in, and then have it shelter somewhere in this area so we can connect it to this backstage pathway for the flamingos and the tapirs. Other than that, you would then take your way back around. I was considering doing the jaguar here, but I think I have better plans. I think I'm going to do a African enclosure here instead. So we probably won't have room for that. And again, I do have a lot of big cats planned, so I don't think we're going to miss that many. Okay, so now with that, you would obviously go through Africa, but we don't have that yet. So we're going to go back this way and go around here and visit the rest of the enclosures. Now, how many do we have left here? We have 1, the whole pavilion, which is like 5, and then we have the otter house. That is everything we have left to go through, and then I will go through future plans, some future plans, not everything. But this is our bush dog enclosure. We'll go through the backstage first. I don't know why these guys are doing this. You can get out. Oh my god, my mouse is being weird. Yeah, there he goes. Okay. It's gotta be something where they're getting stuck on something, but I guess, I don't know. Now, our little bush dogs. Adorable. Again, this is a very cute little pen here. Again, I'm sorry if my commentary isn't that engaging at this point in the tour, because I am a bit drained for energy, but overall, I think this looks pretty nice. Again, I've used a lot of the same stuff for like the backstage areas. We have like our little tables here, which I think these should be moved a bit higher. Maybe not actually, because yeah, I guess not. A little like junk drawers kind of here, or little cabinets. We have drains, buckets, all the regular stuff like that. Alright, so we're gonna move out of here, and then we're gonna look at the outdoor section for the bush dogs. Not the hugest area for it, not the biggest, but I think they are decently happy here. We only have 2. I think I only have put 2 in here. Don't know where either of them are. I just saw one. Yeah, there he is. Beautiful. And this is a last minute addition. I added the pond later on because I didn't know they needed a requirement, so I thought it was like a suggestion. But apparently not. So yeah, there's one bush dog. I don't exactly know where the other one is. Probably in a burrow somewhere. Who knows? This is really cool. I love the little the back wall here, like the foliage overhanging it. It looks very nice and very lush, kind of blending it in there. I'd love to do something like this again for another smaller animal, like maybe like red foxes or raccoons, something like that. But I think overall my favorite part is just the little window peeking in to the enclosure. It just looks very nice. Anyway, moving on. Let's continue. And let's take a look at the Americas Pavilion. So the pavilion is the big project that we have finished this season. We have a total of, I believe, 5 species in here. 3 of which are actually connected to the building. 2 of them, the other 2, are not connected, but they are ones that you see like along the outside path of the pavilion. So we are going to be doing the we'll do the boardwalk first. First, I love this kind of like area with like the sign and stuff. I've revamped the sign and make it a lot more lush. I think it honestly works very well. Now you go up the little boardwalk here, and we begin the boardwalk trail, and we start off with the capybaras, which we have 2 of them in here. I don't know if either of them are actually out here, but we can go along this long boardwalk, this main viewing point, and see if we can find any of them. I honestly don't think we can, because I guess they're inside. I do know they're in here. I know that for a fact. Oh, are they in here? Maybe did they get... Oh, I guess it's empty. Want to make a liar out of me? Alright, fine. Guess we will go back. Okay. Well, this is the capybara enclosure. I do really love the concrete waterfall there. It looks really good, and I really tried to give each enclosure in this area something unique about it. And I think this one definitely is the waterfall, because it looks absolutely amazing. I love like the lush. I tried to blend in a lot of like ferns and stuff into it to make it look the best that it can. Very like blended into like the actual rocks, that actually realizing at first glance that it is man-made. So I think that is very nice to do that. Again, we have our fence going all the way around here. Oh, I guess I should have probably got rid of these. Now we're taking away from the experience. But we have our entire fence going around here, and you'll see this again with the flamingos, just to keep the animals from swimming underneath the bridge. But yeah, let's keep moving. So get a nice view of the capybara enclosure one last time. And there you go. Alright, now we are on to the next animal in our little area here, which is our flamingos. Which, thank God, we have like at least we have two flamingos in here. Again, I had like 8 to 10 of these guys in here. I don't know what happened, but okay, we have like 4 of them. Okay, so we have our beautiful flamingos here. I love the model of these guys. Like, absolutely amazing, gorgeous. Now we'll go back up to our little viewing deck here. We have again our outside area for our flamingos. We have 2 little ponds. We have one that is just water, and the other one is their enrichment, like their foraging pool. Yeah, forage pool. In our backstage area for these guys, the PVC strip curtains, so these actually like move when they go through them. And you have 2 little pools here for them to go in if they want to. And our little backstage area for like the mat and stuff, and all pinpointing charts and everything for the staff, looking very nice. All right, now we go back over to our viewing deck. We just appreciate the view of our little flamingos. Oh, look at the little tiny one, adorable. All right, now we will go into our last enclosure, which is our tapir enclosure, our tapir pen, which I believe when I filmed like this stuff, we had 2 tapirs and a baby, but it seems that the baby has grown up. This is an adult. The other one is also an adult. And over here, 15 years old. So, yeah. This is obviously one of the parents, and they're getting taken away by the vet. Alright, well, at least the vet's doing their job. But, again, our beautiful little tapirs here. I like this enclosure a lot. It's very lush. This is one that I think was originally going to be the flamingo enclosure, but I changed it because I just did not like the idea of it being a flamingo enclosure. It was too big. And I also had an idea for the shelter that wouldn't work for flamingos, so I instead did it for tapirs instead. So I think that honestly kind of worked out for the better. But yeah, also this little lookout here that you can look at the tapirs in the little pond here. Oh, there's another one. 1, 2, 3, and then the other one got taken by the vet. So there's really 4 apparently. So that's a bit concerning. This is our backstage area for the tapirs. Again, pretty simple. We have our sliding doors again, just some tables, stuff like that. Move back out into our lookout tower, our lookout little post here. See a pretty good view of the tapir right there. Very nice. Alright, now we will get off our boardwalk. See like the little planter there for the flamingo. Looking nice. We are approaching the 1 hour mark of this video. Oh boy. And we are wrapping back around to the entrance of the pavilion with our last enclosure, which is the white-faced Saki, one of my favorite enclosures, or one of my favorite animals of the game, currently with the new DLC. The only thing about it is that it's impossible to take pictures of them, or not pictures, videos, because they are so low to the ground, they are so small. I also don't know where these guys are. They are also hiding from me, so that is quite unfortunate. They might show up, they might be gone. Hard to tell. But I do really like this enclosure. This aviary, or like this mesh area, I think is also probably around 600, 700 pieces. So it is not cheap in terms of like pieces, but I think it does look pretty nice. So I think this one was pretty worth it. I do have to make some renovations just to the climbing structures to make them actually usable by the monkeys, because they don't go on them currently, which is really annoying because it really takes away from like the liveliness of the enclosure. So I guess we'll have to work on that. Over here is a area that will be for anteaters and Rias. So we'll be working back on that in a bit. In season 3 maybe. Anyway, now we will go all the way around here. You can see lots of more planters and stuff. I've added fences there. Again, and then we are back at the entrance, and now we are going into the pavilion. Again, we have our same thing here. America's Pavilion. Opening hours, Monday to Friday, Monday to 4, or 10 to 4. Weekends, 10 to 3. And we will now go in. We have, right at the bat, our little blue room here with our little blue walls. We have these little kind of like tanks, I guess, or insect little, what do you call those? Vibranium? I was gonna say vibranium. Vibariums, I guess. There are little like exhibits of, I believe these are supposed to be like snails, or like land snails and ladybugs. Just kind of like your simple little insects to like spark the mood of the entering the house. Now we move on to this, which is one of my favorite indoor areas I've ever made, and this is the Saki indoor area, which unfortunately they are not here, but I do really love this, and that's kind of like the netting here. It looks really cool. I got inspired by the ring-tailed lemur enclosure, or like the Madagascar house, sorry, of the Bronx Zoo, because I have been there, within like probably like a couple of years ago. But this is one of my favorite houses, or one of my favorite sections of that house. Like you have like the netting, but you can also see perfectly into it with the hammocks as well. This looks very dense, very cool, very nice. Like the lush blue in the background, very nice. Again, custom signs, of course. Yeah. Again, our little like lamps stuff. Use lamps a lot here to give a bit more light. This does not lead anywhere, fortunately, so that is a bit of a shame. And now we have our little curtain here that we go through, and we are on the other side with some exhibit animals. We have our implied anole, lesser into the iguana, and also iguana. So I don't know exactly if they're going to be here. Probably not. Yeah. And then we have our caiman tank, alright, caiman enclosure, which is right there. Very nice. Beautiful. Again, this is a case of I feel like it would be fine in an enclosure like this if it's just by itself and it's like a rescue, but the game is like, no, it can't move at all. It can move around the water, but it cannot move around that much on land, in like the land area, so that is a bit of a shame. Now we move on to our little area here with like a little tank. We have a bunch of little fish going through here. Very nice. And we have more exhibit animals. We have the bullfrogs, which are surprisingly, well, there's one right there. And then we have also the bullfrogs, which is another one back there. There's only two, which is pretty easy to actually just pop these guys. Now we have the Emerald Reaper, which is off exhibit because it's not in the game. Ha ha ha. And then we have the Boa Constrictor, which is not here. And then up top here, read the Eyelash Viper, which is not in the game, but I believe you can see. Nope, that's not it. Okay, I don't know where the Boa Constrictor is. I don't know. Anyway, back to where were we here? We're in here. Now we're going through this area. No, never mind. Other area. Hold on. Here we go. And we are into the green room where we have the capybara indoor enclosure, which is pretty nice. I like this. Not too overcomplicated, very similar to how we did the Saki indoor area, but just very nice. Get more little boards there. And then we go out of here, and we are back in a circle at the entrance. So now we will go all the way here. I'm going to skip forward, and we are going to go to our final project here, which is the otter house. Now I can't remember if I don't think I did a tour through this house, but we will make it quick because it's the last thing. Again, otter house, opening hours Monday to Friday, 10 to 4, weekends 10 to 3. Zoo closes at 5 p.m. Okay. Alrighty, so here we are at our little tanks here. We have our little aquariums. Just made some implied signs. Blue tang, clownfish, mackerel, just the little stuff you see in here. Awesome. And then we have, I love the blue aesthetic of this place. It looks really cool. I love that. This honestly is, I think I do really enjoy this enclosure, or this kind of like area, because it's very nice. And we have our, like, I even look at the, like the types of otters. This was just a JPEG I found online. I wanted to do it for this, but it looks really cool. I love that. Now we have a bunch of different stuff. Here we have our, then we get down below. You can see underwater where the otters are swimming. These are the giant otters, not the Asian small-clawed otters, just because we were in the America section. And we have a bit of a land area for them as well to go on. Now we go up the stairs. You can look in up there, very nice. And we go around, outside, and we will go, oh, there's the pet going somewhere. But now we're on the outdoor area. I might do some renovations to this area. Oh, we are paused, oops. I think. Oh, no, never mind, they're just still. But we have our giant otters here. I might do some renovations to this enclosure just because I feel like it's not completely safe, just because of how low the fences are. So I might do some different stuff, but for now I think that's pretty fine. We'll move around here. Again, our info boards there. A very nice enclosure overall. like the lushness. And then we can go on the back side of this. There's nothing too much, just a lot of plants and a lot of flowers. So that is pretty much it for the tour. We are just over an hour of like recording like my side of things. Maybe I will be able to cut things down. But as far as future plans go, because we're running out of time, I don't want to spend too much time on future plans. Future plans for season 3. First of all, okay, for currently, the pavilion will be released separately, so you'll be able to enjoy this entire area on the workshop. So there's that. Probably this week sometime, as well as the entire zoo being released on probably next week, which will include everything in the zoo. You'll be able to download everything, all the stuff like you see and everything you saw in this video. You'll be able to download. So that will be up for grabs next week on the workshop, which again, that'll be season 2. So that is everything done for that season. And then in season 3, now we're moving on to future plans. This is the big thing, and the thing that I really want to work on is number 1, finishing the desert house. We have 3 more enclosures to build for this house. We have the sand cat, which will be going here. We're making kind of like a rectangular area for it. We'll be having the African spurred tortoise, which will probably be here and somewhere in that area. And then we'll be having an area for meerkats and a porcupine. So that will be going probably in here with a pretty large, hefty enclosure, roughly the same size as the honey badger enclosure. So those are going to be the 3 episodes for the desert house, and we'll probably have a desert house tour, just depending on how long it takes to actually get through. If it takes like around like 20 minutes to get through the entire house, then sure, I'll make a tour about it. But if it only takes us like 10 minutes, which I doubt it will because I yap for a while, then I won't make it, and we'll save it for the season 3 tour, which will be God knows how long. In season 3, I also want to finish the main wolf enclosure. We'll be finishing Predator Passage. That is also something that's pretty easy to do. I just need to motivate myself to do it. But the main thing that we will be doing in season 3 for like a new section is, which is something I am very excited to announce, that it's going to be something that is going to be way outside my comfort zone, is the next section, the World of Japan. The World of Japan will be a section, a very small section in the zoo that will be taken like a bit like a piece off of the larger Asia section that will include 4 species and will be kind of like its own kind of mini dome, where it won't be an actual building, but it will be a kind of like a mini park within the zoo, where you will enter a kind of like a little area where you have I'm envisioning like a pagoda in the middle, where you have like a huge kind of like a Japanese tower kind of structure in the middle, where we could transform that into like a restaurant. That would be like the centerpiece of the entire section. But you would also have 4 animals that we now have from Japan, which would be the first of all, the newly added Japanese raccoon dog, the red-crowned crane, the red fox, and the Japanese macaque. Those 4 species would all be included in this new section. That new section will definitely be the main focus of season 3. I know it may not sound like a lot because it's only 4 species, but I really do want this area. I've envisioned it. I've seen a lot of stuff, and like I've done my research, a bit of research so far. I'm gonna do a bit more with like Japanese architecture and like Japanese styles and zoos, and I really want to make this section as cool as possible. Well, so I'll be probably doing the Japanese section somewhere in this section over here. I also want to do North America here. The idea, we're still sticking to the idea, is that you enter up here, and then you have the Americas in this kind of area, which is a bit small, and it's actually kind of shaped like South America, I guess. That was not intentional. But you enter here, you have South America in this section. Then you go through Africa, which we will still have. We'll probably step our feet into a bit more in the future in season 3, maybe adding like definitely finishing the desert house, but also maybe a couple other enclosures. Like I have some ideas for like a camel enclosure, and maybe probably enclosures that are nearby the desert house. We'll be stepping into more of this stuff down here in like season 4 or a future and way later episodes. But the idea is that you go through South America, then you go through Africa here, Oceania, which is pretty much done. We just have a couple more renovations to do with like a couple more tweaks, and then you would go through here, which is Eurasia. I do have a lot of big plans for Eurasia, and I know that a lot of people are, some people are thinking about like we haven't built for any of the Asia species yet, the Asia Pac species, other than the honey badger, which is in the Africa section. And that is because I do have ideas for the Asia section, but I wanted to finish season 2 and get it out, and then we'll start moving towards that. So the first step to making that new Asia section is going to be the world of Japan, which we will be adding one more enclosure, one more animal from that new pack, which is the raccoon dog. We'll be building for the other ones like black buck, nilgai, pure David's deer, lion-tailed macaques, all that stuff in the Asia section for sure, but I'm just not there yet. I'm not quite ready to be at that level. So we'll be waiting a bit more on that, but we will be building, we'll be dipping our toes into the Asia section going forward. As far as like North America stuff, that will be going up here somewhere, but there is a lot of animals for that area, so I don't really know too much of what I want to do for that section. There are also a couple of mini projects that I want to add to this area. Number one being the nocturnal house, which is going to be, I don't even know where that would go, but in this section I really want to do stuff that will be including, I have written this all down, hold on one second, the World of Darkness, which is actually, I've labeled it as the World of Darkness because it, again, honoring the Bronx Zoo and how they just reopened their World of Darkness attraction. But this area, I plan to have the aardvark, the wolverine, and the newly renovated or relocated Tasmanian devil and Northern Island brown kiwi, along with a bunch of exhibit animals like the cockroach, wandering spider, scorpions, Goliath, bird eater, etc. So those will all be going in the Nocturnal House or the World of Darkness, which will basically just be a Nocturnal House. Somewhere, maybe, I don't even know, maybe somewhere over here, wherever we have space. That'll probably be one of the last things we do, just because I just want to get a scope of where everything's going first, and then we can worry about putting that there. So I have it on my notes and stuff and everything I really want to do. We have World of Japan. If we go through step by step, Oakwood Petting Zoo, which is something I have not brought up at all. Oakwood Petting Zoo will be, again, we basically already have that done, that we have an entire series on that, or a mini-series, which you can just go check that out. That will be eventually put into the zoo at the very end, because I don't want it to slow down the zoo on purpose or anything like that. So we'll be waiting until the end to actually put that in here, but that is basically done. I do want to add the raccoons and the llamas, like a separate llama enclosure to that area, or to the petting zoo. America's Pavilion is done. World of Darkness is going to be the Nocturnal House. The Desert House, again, in progress. World of Japan, which is going to be the main star of Season 3. We have a secret thing that I want to do for Asia. I'm going to leave all the stuff, the rest of the stuff with the Asia section in like the mist for now. We're going to go over that in the future. Predator Passage is going to be finished in Season 3. We only have one more enclosure. Destination Africa, which is the Africa section, which we have a lot of animals for. I'm not going to reveal the entire list, but I do have a lot of the main ones that I really want to see like added to this area. Just give you like a heads up, like mandrills, hippos, baboons. We will finally build for the Hamadryas baboons for the longest time. Cheetahs, caracals, savanna elephants, African penguins, African leopard, lions, striped hyena, ring-tailed lemur, etc. South America, again, we are kind of almost there. We have brown-throated sloth, bush dogs, giant anteater, giant otters, great oriyas. We have done the bush dog and the giant otter. The sloth will be in a sloth house on its own, and then the giant anteater and the great oriya will be part of a combined enclosure, which we are currently working on. Oceania is basically done. Eurasia Wilds, which is going to be part of the Asia section, which we'll leave for now, and then the Canadian Express, which will also be like that North American section, which is not quite there yet. So yeah, overall, I think that's pretty much it for the future plans. That is it for the tour. I really hope you all have enjoyed what has come so far this amazing series. I am very proud of the series. We have done a lot more what I thought of. First of all, I never thought we would actually get the zoo back, but we finally did, and it is going pretty well. There's no major stuff with like the lag or anything. I don't want to jinx anything, but I don't really think we're going to be stopping anytime soon. I don't think the game is getting in the way of that. So hopefully we'll be having our good streak of luck continues, and we will be able to build more onto this zoo. I think overall that is going to be pretty much it for me. I think I've talked for way too long. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this. I have spent way too long recording this, and I already know in the future way too long editing this. So if you please, if you would, please hit the subscribe button because we will be adding a lot more stuff to the zoo. We are only on season 2. Like we've done, well, now we're on season 3, but we have a lot more stuff to go, a lot more seasons to go. We'll probably end up with like season 10. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. And we'll see you all next time. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the comment down below what you enjoyed so far. What's your favorite episode so far, and what animal do you want me to see? What animal do you want to see me add next to the zoo? And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your day.